Hello, everyone. Another Fortinet Championship press conference. We're here with Justin Suh, finished #1 in the Korn Ferry Tour season-long points race, as well as the finals, which earned him fully exempt status on the PGA Tour this season, as well as an exemption to the Players' Championship, and for the first time ever, the U.S. Open, which holds a little more significance for Justin. Why don't you talk about earning the exemption to play in this year's U.S. Open at LA Country Club, which was right outside where you played college?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to qualify into the U.S. Open last year at Torrey Pines, and it was fun just seeing all my buddies coming out there. And for it to be in LA, a course that I've played multiple times while I was at SC, it's going to be pretty special.
You played a lot as a sponsor exemption immediately out of college. I think you even said that you didn't even really get a chance to move out of your dorm. Your parents had to sort of move you out of LA. But just talk about what it's like being back this time, a little more settled as a professional and as a member where you're able to make a schedule.
Yeah, especially finishing at 1, it's going to be pretty critical in how we get to set up our schedule. We're going to be able to plan our season out. Yeah, like you said, when I first came out of college, I had zero time to go back and pack all my stuff. My parents came down, they packed my entire room. But no, this time around, I feel like everything's settled. We've earned it. We've got our position here as you know, grabbing that #1 spot. So now I feel like you know, everything's up for grabs.
And then if you'd be kind enough to sort of let everyone know here a little bit about the Hawaiian restaurant your parents manage. It's in San Jose, right?
Yeah, it's in San Jose. It's called Hawaiian Drive-In off Tully Road. I can guarantee if you go there, you will not leave wanting more food. You eat pretty full at my parents' restaurant.
And we'll open it up for any questions. Grace?
Justin, you finished the season #1, and it was coming down to you and Carl. When you finished your round on Sunday at KFT Championship, did you know, like, I secured that #1 spot?
Yeah, I did an interview on Saturday where they made that pretty aware. I didn't know if what Carl finished was going to affect that. Like, if he finished second, I finished first. I didn't know if I was still going to get that #1 spot. To be honest, going into Sunday, I wasn't really thinking about it. All season long, we were close to winning a tournament, and to capitalize on that last event, that was our main priority.
That's awesome. And then what should fans know about this rookie class coming up?
It's strong. I think especially in the last few years, you guys have seen the rookie classes making a big impact on the PGA Tour. There's a lot of great players coming out. Carl, like you mentioned, had a great season as well. I think you'll see some pretty high finishes from the rookies.
We're going to come up here to Adam in the front.
Justin, what was the level of frustration that you felt during the COVID period when you really couldn't advance?
For me, actually, it was a blessing. My game wasn't that strong. It was actually a time where I could kind of take a step back, reevaluate our game, and for me to not really have to travel from tournament to tournament trying to find your game, it was a time for me to kind of get back on the range, work on some stuff, and get ready for, you know, the years to come. And I think for me, that time period, obviously it was a tough time for everyone in the world, but for me, like, personally, like, it was a time for just, you know, just kind of some maintenance and working on some stuff.
What was the turning point?
To be honest, the turning point, honestly, like, as soon as I started the Korn Ferry season, you know, I went back to my coach right after Columbus during Korn Ferry finals. We kind of simplified things. We wanted to work on, you know, just the setup. I kind of kept on finding that from traveling from week to week, things were getting out of sync. So we found a way for me to kind of keep these checkpoints from tournament to tournament, and I think that helped me a lot during the Korn Ferry Tour season. And I think the turning point was just this past season on the Korn Ferry Tour.
We're going to go to Matt all the way straight in the back.
Thank you. Zach mentioned some of the opportunities you had when you were a younger player. In the years since, what have you learned and how have you grown, maybe as a player or as a person, that's going to help you in this PGA Tour season?
Yeah, I think right after college, I think I was fortunate enough to get so many starts, a lot of sponsored invites. I Mondayed into a few events, so for me, it's I don't really feel like a rookie. I feel like I came back to the PGA Tour. So it's definitely comforting. I've got my routine down. When things weren't going well, I was able to try a lot of things, which isn't what you want to do when you're playing well, but I got to try a lot of different things because I was missing cuts. But I definitely found what worked for me. I think we got a good process down with me and my caddy and my coaches. And I think it's kind of solidified how we practice and perform.
Haley?
Justin, for those that are unfamiliar with your game, how would you explain it to others, and kind of where do you really excel at in your game?
I think over the last season, my stroke gain approach to the green has improved significantly. My ball striking has improved a lot, and that just translates to like how we practice. I mean, I work with the TrackMan with Decade Golf, and all we're doing is just practicing on hitting shots, hitting our numbers, and for me, like when I practice it so much and I go out onto the golf course, there's really nothing different. Like me and my caddy, like this morning we did a high random is what we call it, numbers in between 135 to 185, and let's say the number was 145. Like I already know that's like what I call a meaty 9. He knows it's a meaty 9, so it's very simple, quick. And when we go on the golf course and we have these numbers, it's almost like we're doing what we call a simulated round.
Adam in the front.
What's the biggest takeaway lesson that you learned from Coach Zambri?
How to practice, for sure. How to practice, how to strategize. I learned all this from him. Like this is all his stuff as a coach. The way we practiced at SC, we never just go out and hit balls. I think every morning we had a purpose. We wanted to get the best score we could, and all those scores that we would get would go into how you qualify for our next event. So it was always pressure, always intent. So we're working on numbers, and for me, when you're doing so many of those, you kind of want to do well on those scores. So off hours, like I remember like my freshman and sophomore year, I had a great roommate, Ryan Slater, and I wasn't great at what we call mid-randoms, which is 90 to 135. And I remember at night, like we would be in the simulated, our simulated room, probably practice till like 10 p.m. And I started out as like one of the worst and then got to one of the best on the team. So that's just how we practice.
Final questions for Justin? We've got Grace with another one here.
Sorry, I have one more. You have a friend out here, Joseph Bramlett. Just tell us about that friendship and what it means to be out here together.
It means a lot. Growing up, I've looked up to him. He's kind of my big brother. We lived together in Vegas. We practiced a lot. There's a lot of smack talk. If you grew up in San Jose Country Club, you get used to that kind of stuff. So we're pretty hard-headed. But it means a lot to travel with him and kind of compete with him. It's a cool feeling.
Any final questions from the crowd? I guess the only one I'll add here, so your sister, you competed with her quite a bit growing up. Where's big sister going to be watching from this week?
She doesn't watch me play at all. I think it was Utah when I had to. They asked if I wanted to FaceTime anyone, and I was like, all right, let me FaceTime my sister. Didn't answer the first one. Didn't answer the second one. Got in touch with her two days later, and she's like, how'd you play? I'm like, I got my tour card. So she's full of life. She's someone who I can talk to even if I have a bad or good round. Like she's always in a good mood. So I don't think she'll be watching this week, but she might follow for a little bit.
Awesome. Thanks, Justin.
Thank you, guys.